Hey YouTube, it's Little Rocker Cutie 2005, also known as Andre here. Once again, I am chilling with Buffyxenaman, also known as Chris. And this time, we don't have really an update, but it's more of part 2, you could say, of my horror collection. But before we get started, I'd like to just talk for a minute because this is the 1st of October, and last month was September. It marked my 1-year anniversary here on YouTube. And I've had a wonderful experience so far. I've talked to many wonderful people, including people like Karate Popcorn, Cinema Sickness, Clay Singer, Matt, also known as Ramborat for Life, among others, but those are a few that I talk to every now and again, and of course I'm looking forward to talking to them more. I'm just glad to be here on YouTube, and I'm having fun doing it. So, let's get started with the horror. First up, we're going to do what I have of Stephen King. So first off, we have the all-time classic Carrie with Sissy Spacek. I think everybody knows about this one. Basically, the outcast girl gets voted prom queen. They dump a bucket of blood on her, and she just raises hell.
That's like that one famous line that people keep saying. It's like in the top 100 horror catchphrases.
Oh yeah, they're all gonna laugh at you.
You know, it's the ape Sin and
oh yeah,
she kept paying
the Raven was called Sin,
and she kept paying Carrie Bible until she admitted it. I love this. This is like one of my favorite movies of all time, and I love the music. And I like this is kind of a sad ending.
Yeah. They were originally supposed to have the person who did Psycho do the music, but I think he died like right before they started shooting this.
And they're supposed to have rocks shooting in the house, but the machine broke. And yeah, that's the prom scene. I always love to watch that because people eventually got what they deserved.
Exactly.
But the gym teacher was nice to her. I don't understand why she had to die.
Because, like, if you look at it before she starts raising hell, Carrie sees everybody laughing at her, including the gym teacher. So I think that's pretty much why. And we have the sequel, The Rage, Carrie 2. Now, I think this sequel's very underrated for being a sequel to Carrie, but it focuses on this girl here. Her name is Rachel, and it turns out that she's Carrie's half-sister and has the same telekinetic powers. And of course, she's an outcast who gets picked on, falls in love with the jock, and of course, the jocks are like playing this really mean game where like they sleep with girls and they rank them by points or something like that. I don't remember exactly because it's been a while since I watched this one, but I do like the ending of it because once again, they humiliate her, and of course, she gives them what they deserve.
The counselor.
Yup.
Was in the original Carrie the only person survived the senior class thing.
Sue, played by Amy Irving.
Yep. And also she has the crazy mother.
Yep.
They ended up in the beginning of taking her to a mental hospital.
Right.
I guess every time a guy sleeps with someone, they go crazy.
Who knows?
Not much is said about the father either way. But,
well, you look at 1 and 2, they hardly say anything.
Well, it said number 2 that he probably has telekinetic powers too. But he just sleeps around and gets religious women pregnant.
Right.
And the thing about this about Rachel is her tattoo.
Yeah.
Beats, and it makes these thorns around
like barbed wire.
Yeah. My favorite death has to be when they're trying to shoot harpoons at her. She blows out like one girl's eyes.
Yep. They had them spear guns, and of course, the girl wearing glasses takes her eyes out. She nails one of the guys in the wang with her spear gun.
One goes in the pool. And I like that one. He tries to put him out. She shuts this thing. Tries to put him out just at the time. Boom.
Yep.
She takes the harpoon and cuts her way out. That also had a kind of sad ending.
Yep.
But good movies.
Next up is another Stephen King classic. This is The Shining. Now, this is Stanley Kubrick's original 1980 version. and not the remake they did in '97 for TV. This is the one with Jack Nicholson in one of his most iconic roles, and it is one of my favorite Stephen King adaptations. But there's like a line between the people who see it as a Stephen King adaptation and the people who see it as a Stanley Kubrick film. And of course the sides are always, I don't know exactly, because I like it as both a Stanley Kubrick movie and a Stephen King adaptation, so I don't really see what the fuss is about.
Red rum. Red rum.
Of course, here's Johnny.
Firestarter 2-disc movie.
Now this is one of my favorites. It had the first one, well actually this is a 2-movie set. It has the original Firestarter, which had Drew Barrymore, and it's got the TV movie, the TV sequel. And in my opinion, the sequel wasn't as good as the original. I mean, I like Drew Barrymore as Charlie. I think she did a really good job. It was one of her early roles. It was one of the first I saw her, and it made me really like her.
It's a decent movie. Never saw the second one, but the first one's a good movie.
The second one's like 3 hours because it was like a mini-series or something like that.
I have no idea. Never saw it.
Next up is another Stephen King classic. This is Pet Sematary. Now, I think everybody out there knows about this one. So I don't exactly know what to say about it, but it is another one of my favorites. And this is one that did scare me as a kid, because I think because of the little kid when he starts killing people at the end. But this whole movie in general, it just scared the hell out of me when I was little, and I don't really know why. But as I got older, I really came to enjoy it.
I've seen that movie like twice, and I keep thinking, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Stop doing that.
Yeah. Quit burying them up there.
It's like, oh, she's just been dead like only a half an hour.
Yeah, she just died.
I can save her. It's like, no. The ghost is warning you not to.
For real.
Listen to the ghost. If a ghost tell me to do something, I would listen.
Yep.
Trust me, I would. Of course, if I buried Tara in that cemetery, that'd probably be a bad idea, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm. Very bad idea.
Oh yeah, Tara's my pet rat that died, so he's a mischief maker, so yeah, so undead Tara probably bad thing. Yeah.
Next up, this is The Dark Half. This is another Stephen King adaptation, both written and directed by George Romero, who would earlier team up with Stephen King for Creepshow 1 and 2. Now, this is one I watched recently, and I remember seeing it as a kid, and it was one that my grandma absolutely loved. So when I saw this in the pawn shop by my house a few months ago, I just had to pick it up. Plus, I also heard that this is out of print and kind of hard to find, so it was either grab it now or never have it at all.
I've never seen a lot of these ones.
This one came from my bro, Lil Craze 25. Sometimes they come back. This is another Stephen King adaptation, of course. It was based on what people say is one of his scariest short stories. If you look carefully, you may recognize the main villain. It's Robert Russler, who played Grady in Nightmare on Elm Street 2. And finally, for my Stephen King collection, I have Sleepwalkers. This is the only one that I think I don't know if he wrote this one. I think he wrote it, but it was directed by one of the people who worked with him a lot, Mick Garris. But I think this is the only movie that Stephen King really wrote that went to theaters. But I think he also wrote and I know he directed Maximum Overdrive, but I'm not sure if he wrote it.
Camp Sleepaway.
Sleepaway Camp.
This is a good movie, and it's basically about, in the beginning, this gay couple is taking a vacation with their 2 kids, and they get into a boat accident, and you think that, and the we think the girl survived. I hate to do a spoiler, but it's been out for a while.
Yep, it's been out since 1983.
Yeah, and they go live, the surviving child goes live with the crazy aunt. No.
You may as well, I was about to say, you may as well do it.
No, this will not do. I haven't seen it in a while, so I've done it in a while, but she just like, go, my. He's like, oh,
yeah.
Like, have I seen that before?
What I also found out about this DVD is that it's the edited version. There's actually another DVD of this, and it's actually cheaper, but our family video here in Holton Lake has it, so I rented it before I got this trilogy that I have, and I was surprised to find out that this version was edited, and then the one I rented was the uncut version. So I'm going to have to try and get my hands on the uncut version because that's the one I really want.
Of course, at the end.
That ending, oh, that's just a shocker.
Yeah, and the aunt going, I already have a boy. I always want to have a girl.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to be your auntie's little girl?
We'll call you Angela.
Oh God, I have to watch this movie. It's like, I love that scene.
Next up is probably my favorite Sleepaway Camp movie. It's
Mine too.
Sleepaway Camp 2, Unhappy Campers.
No, there's a hockey mask and the Freddy glove.
Yeah, as you can see, because they were used in the movie, Angela actually kills one of the kids with the Freddy glove by slitting his throat, and then she gets another one with a chainsaw while she's wearing a Jason mask.
It's like that one spoiled girl got thrown in the toilet, the outhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, leech for a leech, and puts her down in the toilet with a stick. Or in those two sisters, she burns alive.
This one had some really creative kills.
I'll tell them the story about the tongue being cut out.
Oh yeah, the first kill. This girl gets her tongue cut out.
Unfortunately, the box doesn't have this, but this does.
Yeah.
Weird, huh? Yeah, it's this has to be my favorite one. And Angela, of course, comes back as a counselor, and she gets away at the end.
Yeah.
I love it. It's like this, like one of the things the serial killers got away with it. Camp Sleepaway 3, probably my least favorite one.
I don't know if I'd say this was my least favorite one. I would say
It's ranked higher than number 4.
That's what I was about to say. But this one, of course, Angela comes back and she's at this camp for... It's like an experiment in sharing where they get these inner city kids and these spoiled rich kids together. And of course, Angela shows up amongst them, and of course, she starts killing them.
The one girl, the one racist rich girl.
Oh yeah, the one that gets put up on the flagpole. Do you know who my daddy is? Put me down! Okay.
And she kills that one guy in the tent with the gun.
Yeah.
I like this. I hated him.
He was actually the dad of the lead girl's boyfriend from Sleepaway Camp 2.
The tent one, the one that had the gun in the first place. She put a stake in his neck.
Oh yeah.
I didn't like him. And yeah, the one he's like, how you gonna kill me?
A gun.
Oh yeah, it's not the best, but at the end they catch her, and in an ambulance they try to kill her. And she takes this I want to say syringe.
Yeah, it was a needle.
And stabs them both in the eye, and he goes like, "What's going on back there?"
Just taking care of business.
But at least this is like a lot better than number 4.
Yeah.
It didn't sympathize with the victim at all. I love. That's just, I don't know. Mixed feelings about that movie.
Oh, I agree. Next up, we have I Know What You Did Last Summer. Now, this one is kind of a classic in my opinion. It was written by Kevin Williamson. After he had written the successful hit Scream, he did This Next, and it has Jennifer Love Hewitt, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Freddie Prinze Jr., and Ryan Phillippe. And they're these 4 like high school kids, and they're celebrating their graduation or something like that. And they accidentally kill a guy on this like swervy... It's like a swervy mountain road, and of course they dump the body, and a year later he comes back for revenge.
Yes. That's like the infamous balcony scene where he gets killed and the body's not there.
Yeah.
And then there was Sarah Michelle Gellar's death where a marching band just happens to walk through as the killer starts killing her.
Yeah. And nobody sees it. But then, of course, I think most people would think the most iconic scene is probably Jennifer Love Hewitt in the middle of the road screaming, "What are you waiting for?"
Yeah. They make fun of that in Scary Movie.
Yeah.
What are you waiting for? Bam!
Yeah.
I still know what you did last summer with Jennifer Love Hewitt, Ray Prince Jr., Brandy, and I don't know.
Mekhi Phifer is his name.
Mekhi Phifer. This is still it's a good sequel.
This was a pretty good sequel to follow up with the first one.
They just pretty much, they go on vacation to this island, and the fisherman follows them, and he has help this time.
It's actually an interesting twist who his help is.
Yep. I found out when the cabinet falls on Brandy, that was her being clumsy, but they kept it in the movie. And Jennifer Love Hewitt has a music video on here.
Yep.
Because she was trying to be a singer instead of an actress, but that didn't pan out.
Well, she was trying to be a singer for years before she started being an actress.
Yep.
She had a big career in Japan, kind of like Alyssa Milano did.
And Tyra.
Who?
Tyra.
Yep.
She had that horrible song that was in Japan.
And we have the final and crappy sequel, I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer. Now this one, I don't like it. It takes a whole different direction, using a whole new town, different people, but still bringing back the fishermen. And it's like, why would you bring back the fishermen if you're not gonna bring back the people who survived part 2, like Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr., and actually continue? Brandy. Oh yeah, Brandy survived too. It's been a while since I watched that one.
But the thing is, they mentioned those 2 movies in this.
Now see, I only watched that one once.
I did too. They mentioned those 2 movies in this one. I'm like, how does that fucking tie in? The fisherman is the entity of revenge.
Right.
It made no sense, but the kills were pretty decent. I don't remember the ending at all.
I don't either. So. And next up, we have one half of the Grindhouse. This is Planet Terror. This is actually the first half. Among the stars, it's got Rose McGowan, Bruce Willis, let's see, Freddie Rodriguez, Josh Brolin.
Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, Quentin Tarantino makes an appearance in here. You see Michael Biehn from Aliens.
Did you see Rose McGowan?
Yep, I said her first.
Okay.
But this is the one that is kind of a zombie movie, and Rose McGowan ends up getting this assault rifle for a leg. I thought it was really cool.
I haven't watched that yet, but I did watch this, Death
Proof. Now, I like this one.
This is one of the best Tarantino movies out there. It kind of starts out slow, but after like the first kills, it gets better.
Yeah.
Especially when they go after the guy.
Yeah.
And when they finally catch up with him, they beat the living shit out of him.
It's like a 20-minute car chase at the end of it.
Yep. And oh yeah, I just love the part where he's out of the car, and she's running after him with a pole, and bam!
Yeah.
They get stressed away and they go after him.
Like the part where they're chasing him and the girl driving's like, "You know I can't let you go."
And this funny part is the car they're chasing him in is a test drive car. Mm-hmm. And it's all smashed up, and
they wanted to play a game called Ship's Mast.
Yep. And they beat the crap out living shit out of the guy. Just a good
Kurt Russell, he did a good job as the killer in this movie, I think.
Rose McGowan was in this movie too.
Yeah.
But she was in the death car without the seatbelt, and boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Which one is first?
This one is the original. Next up, we have Wes Craven's original Last House on the Left. Now, I've watched this a couple times, but I don't know really what to say about it. It's probably one of the most brutal movies I've seen in a long time. And I think one of the scenes that stands out for me is after the escaped convicts or whatever they are kill these 2 girls, and they're in the home of the parents of one of the girls. The mother takes one of the killers out to the woods and starts going down on him, right? Well, she ends up biting his dick off.
I haven't seen this movie yet.
And this is The Last House on the Left remake. Now, I like this one better than the original, actually. I think they were able to do a lot more. And, of course, with the original people who made the original coming back, Wes Craven and Sean Cunningham, I think that made it even better. And this was a remake that I really enjoyed.
I hated it.
How come you hated it?
I just did not believe that these people were able to stop vicious killers at all.
Watch the original, it's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, I just hated it. I hated the after credits thing when they blew up the guy's head. I just hated it.
Oh, I love that.
I hated that fucking movie so badly.
Next up, we have the original I Spit on Your Grave. Now, some of you may have seen this in my update from April and heard my little rant about it. There's a, I want to say 28 to possibly 30-minute rape scene in it, but when I watch this, I skip over that because it's one of those things that I really do not like violence against women. I mean, that's just something that I personally cannot stand. But yet this movie is in my collection because I like the girl's revenge at the end.
Remake.
Yeah, the remake. Now this one I liked more than the original. They shortened the rape scene and they made the girl's revenge a lot more brutal. If you look carefully in this one, you'll see Rodney Eastman, actually, who played Joey in Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and 4. He's actually one of the thugs.
The original My Bloody Valentine.
Nah, this was a good one. This was good for being a slasher movie.
Yes, it was. Just like the part where they're being chased underground and you're like, okay, keep going. It's like, hop. They're on the, I don't know what they call that mini train thing underground. A cart.
Like a mine cart or something like that, it's called.
Yeah, they're like running on top of that, and the guy's coming, the kid keeps coming. One problem is, I don't know how it ends, I never got to see the ending.
You'll have to borrow that from me and watch it so you can see it all.
Yes, but I saw it was pretty good.
Yep.
And
we have the remake, which I haven't watched yet, but one of these nights I'm going to. I've seen bits and pieces of it.
I've seen
but
half of it. It has like,
Jensen Ackles.
Jensen Ackles from Supernatural in it.
And Kerr Smith from Dawson's Creek, and some of you may remember him from the first Final Destination.
Yep, it's not too bad. It's a 2-disc special edition, of course, which is the usual documentary and deleted scenes.
Yep, and as you can see, this also comes with the 3D version.
I don't like 3D.
I'm not a fan of 3D either. It gives me a headache.
It's pointless. Titanic 3D, I was like, just remake it, release it, and when it comes on DVD,
I'd say re-release it, don't remake it.
Oh, they cleaned it up too. They cleaned up the film too, but yeah. 3D, I hate it.
I hardly see the point of cleaning up a film like that when it's from '97 to begin with.
Well, they did for the 100 years of Titanic anniversary. They released on this day it sank for 100 years.
I know they put out that Blu-ray.
Yeah, people dressed up and went to the movie. Michael did it. There's pictures of it on Facebook. And, yeah. So.
Next up, we have another. This is from the producers of My Bloody Valentine, and it's called Happy Birthday to Me. This has Melissa Sue Anderson, who some of you might remember from Little House on the Prairie. She is part of the most popular clique in school, but then somebody is going around killing each of them, and it's got an interesting twist at the end when you find out who the killer is.
I've got to watch this. No, at least
That was a good one.
Let's do the Saw a little differently.
Okay.
This is Saw 1, all the Saw movies.
Yep, 1 through 7. I have them all, but I haven't watched the last 3 yet. I think I stopped at part 4.
I've seen them all, and these are very smart horror movie series.
What I saw, 1 through 4, I liked, so I know I have to watch the last 3.
It's brilliant writing. brilliant acting. It was such a damn good movie. And number 7, probably my favorite one. It pretty much just gives, like, ties in all the movies together, and pretty much gives it to a conclusive ending. And there's a surprise person from number 7 that number 1 returns in the last one.
Let's see, my favorite is probably part 2, because I like Donnie Wahlberg in it. I like the fact that Shawnee Smith comes back as Amanda, and it turns out this time she's now Jigsaw's apprentice. And that was the one I really got into.
No, 3 and 4, I found out, takes place pretty much at the same time.
Really?
Yeah. Because Amanda's doing anything with Jigsaw with the husband, and there's like a couple other people there looking for Jigsaw. And it pretty much takes place at the same time.
Right.
Moving forward.
Okay, moving on. Should we do this stack next or this stack?
Well, just the closest stack should be
okay.
The Crazies.
Now this is actually a remake. This was another one of the few remakes that I actually liked. It's got Timothy Olyphant from Scream 2 in the lead role, and then Rhoda Mitchell from Pitch Black and Silent Hill plays his wife. And basically this toxin gets into this town's water supply, and it starts making the residents in the town go crazy and kill people. And the army comes in and seals the town off so nobody can get in or out, and the people who aren't infected are trying to get out, but the army won't let them out, and they're pretty much killing whoever gets close enough to them. But I thought it was a really good one. I've never seen the original version, but next up we have Let Me In. This is actually a remake too. It's a remake of the Swedish film Let the Right One In, and it's about these 2 kids. One of them is a little boy who gets picked on a lot in school, and he meets this little girl who turns out to be a vampire. And of course there's the whole like thing of the love story bit of it, and of course the vampire killing all the kids that pick on this little boy. And I thought it was a really well done movie.
Virus.
This movie was actually based on a comic book, and it's got Jamie Lee Curtis and Donald Sutherland, but it's about this they're like a tugboat crew, and they find this abandoned ship, only it's not technically abandoned. There's actually something on it that is like controlling everything, and they find one survivor. But this is another one I haven't watched in a long time, and I found it at the pawn shop a couple months ago, so I just had to pick it up. And because I like Jamie Lee Curtis, and I don't think many of her fans talk about this movie that much, but it was the one I enjoyed.
By the way, people who make these CDs, no more locking things. They're just annoying, and you want to open DVD up, you don't go click.
For real.
That's a side note.
Right?
Oh man.
Yeah, and this is the director's cut. I don't know why they called it a director's cut when it's got only 8 minutes of extra footage in it, but I saw the theatrical cut of this movie when it first came out, and it was one that I really enjoyed. I liked Kevin Bacon, I liked Elizabeth Shue, Josh Brolin, he did a good part in it, and of course the ending just left you on the edge of your seat, but it was one that I just really could not get enough of at that time.
Jennifer's Body.
Now, this is one I haven't seen. I've seen reviews of it on YouTube, but a lot of people have really been tearing it apart and saying that it was a bad movie. It's from the writer of Juno, believe it or not. But it's got Megan Fox and Amanda Seyfried in it. I got it because I like both of them. I like Megan Fox because of the Transformers movies. And, of course, Amanda Seyfried, she had a smaller part in Mean Girls, but most people now remember her from the movie version of Mamma Mia.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I saw the first 10 minutes of this. It wasn't too bad. I just have to finish it. There's a lot of movies I need to finish, and this is not one of them.
This is one of my favorites, Deep Blue Sea. Now, it's about this team of scientists that's experimenting on these sharks to find a cure for Alzheimer's. And, of course, the sharks get loose, people start getting killed, but it was a really good shark attack movie, which you rarely see anymore. But it had an excellent cast: Saffron Burrows, Thomas Jane, Pre-Punisher, LL Cool J, Samuel L. Jackson, and it was directed by the great Rennie Harlan, who also did Nightmare on Elm Street 4.
I love that movie. Orphan.
Yep, The Orphan. Now, this movie is just genuinely creepy.
Oh, yeah. It's ugh.
I really don't know what to say about it. All I can say is that this little girl on the cover scared the hell out of me. And, I mean, I'm 28 years old. To be scared by a little girl, that is saying something. That is powerful movie making.
It turns out to be a midget.
Yeah. Like a 30-something-year-old midget.
Untraceable.
This one I was actually told about by my bro, Lil Craze 25. He actually told me about it, and I found it at Walmart a couple years ago for $4, so I had to pick it up. Plus, I like Diane Lane, and as you can, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's reviews on the cover that say it's the Silence of the Lambs for the internet age. Now, I personally don't know if that's true or not, because I've only watched this like once or twice, but I really did like it. Like I said, I did like Diane Lane in it. She is one of my favorite actresses, and this was kind of a cool take on like the suspense / horror genre, dealing with an internet killer.
Tales of the Hood.
Now, Tales from the Hood. This is one that I've liked since I was a kid, because my grandma and I watched it together. This was one she was really into, which kind of surprised me, but then again, my grandma was a horror nut, so you couldn't tell her anything. If she liked something, that was it. But this is basically one of those anthology movies in the style of like Creep Show, TV shows like Tales from the Crypt, of course, Twilight Zone, all that kind of stuff.
It's up.
And it's one of them snapper cases. I don't see how people can like them snapper cases better, to be honest. They say they're more sturdy, but I don't think they're more sturdy, especially when you can ruin them a lot easier.
I just don't know how many stories are in this thing.
I think it's like 3.
I think there's more.
It's like 3 or 4.
There's the cop, there's the
That's
child.
the cop, the kid, and then there's the one with the voodoo dolls.
And then there's the one with the dog going to rehabilitation.
Yep. So that's 4.
I like the kid one.
I like that one and the one about the cops.
I like that at the end. It's like the mom. The kid pulls up the paper of the monster and her and his dad, and he drops it, and his mother steps on it.
Yeah.
After calling her a bitch. It's like, who's the bitch now?
Well, they light it on fire too.
Yep. And he's in the coffin, the monster. Version of him, at least. But yeah. I like that at the end, the twist.
Mm-hmm.
They're at drugs, but turns out they're in coffins.
Yeah.
They're in hell.
Yep. Now, this one is one of my favorites. It's the immortal Sam Raimi classic, The Evil Dead. Now, this was actually Sam Raimi's first movie that he directed, and it stars Bruce Campbell. I really don't know what to say about this movie that hasn't already been said, because it is such a classic and there are so many fans of it. I have heard that it is getting a remake, that they're working on it right now, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be too interested in it, because it's going to have a female lead instead of a male lead like Bruce Campbell in the original. But this movie was actually done, Sam Raimi and all of them are actually from Michigan, believe it or not.
Yeah, but I hated that movie. I just did not get into it at all, and they're not 2 or 3.
Well, that's you. I happen to like them.
You said it was sassy attitude.
Deal with it.
Disturbing behavior.
Now, this is another one of my favorites. I saw this as a freshman in high school, and it definitely made me think of high school differently. I think the main reason I first saw this was because Katie Holmes is in it, and I had a huge crush on her at the time because of Dawson's Creek, which was like one of my favorite shows. But it's about this guidance counselor who's taking all the slackers in this school and turning them into like these straight A, like
drones.
Yeah, drones pretty much.
Like I always say, the true story of Holton Lake High School.
Oh, I agree. Holton Lake High School.
They didn't track your bird out, we ran.
Yeah.
Or they just couldn't get past the craziness.
Nah, we were too crazy for them.
The stepfather.
This is actually the remake of The Stepfather. This is the unrated director's cut. Now, I've watched this a couple times. This was another one that I had seen, and then Lil Craze 25 and I started talking about it, and I ended up buying it at the eBay store here in town in a 3 for $10 deal. So, because I wanted to watch it again, and it was one that I really enjoyed. I thought it was a fairly decent remake compared to the original.
The guy right here was on the FX show Nip Tuck.
Yep. And the son was on Gossip Girl.
Yeah, Gossip Girl.
Never watched it, don't plan to.
I would be shot. Or whatever.
Now this here is a documentary called Going to Pieces, The Rise and Fall of the Slasher Film. It's actually about the slasher genre and how it got to be really popular in the late 70s and early 80s, and then when it died out in the late 80s because of all the sequels coming out and the movies that weren't making so much money.
Oh, and the critics and the parent groups and the
critics, the parents' rights groups or whatever, they all hated these movies.
The Film Society, whatever they're called, the rating boards.
Yeah, the MPAA, it talks about how they were coming down on these directors making these movies and trying to get them to cut like certain things out, like more of the excess gore, the nudity, that sort of stuff.
Like in Friday the 13th, 8th, Jason Takes Manhattan. That's really one of the movies that got really hit hard.
So did Part 7
and Part 5 of Nightmare. And they're talking about the Christmas one.
Oh, Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Because they advertised Santa Claus killing people and
the parents groups went nuts.
Yeah. And then Roger Ebert.
Oh yeah, they show Roger Ebert talking about, I think, Friday the 13th Part 4, which is one of my favorites in the series. And it shows, and this documentary actually shows a clip from when they were talking about those movies. And Roger Ebert calls this movie, Friday the 13th Part 4, he calls it an immoral and reprehensible piece of trash. Now, I was watching this documentary and I saw that and I'm thinking, what the hell? I mean, you're a critic. Go watch something that you're going to be entertained by.
My problem with that is, if you don't like it, don't watch it.
Exactly! That's the whole thing.
Plus, this guy's not into the horror genre at all. And he'll bitch about.
Oh, he gives the shittiest horror 2 thumbs up.
And it's
believe it or not, he actually gave Chucky a positive review.
But it's like, if you don't like it, why are you watching it?
Exactly. There's the option of hitting the stop button.
Or not going to and leave it alone. That's all I have to say about that. House on Haunted Hill.
Yep, this is the remake from 1999, the first movie from the Dark Castle Company. Now, this one was another one I got into, I think, my freshman year of high school. And it was one that I really enjoyed because of the cast, the effects, and just basically the story.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in this movie.
There's a lot of good people. Taye Diggs, Bridget Wilson, Ali Larter, Chris Kattan, Jeffrey Rush, Famke Johnson's in there.
I think I didn't see the whole thing in that movie yet.
That's a good one.
Return to House on Haunted Hill.
Yeah, this is the direct-to-video sequel, which, in my opinion, wasn't as good as the first one, but I'm a completist, so had to get it. Got it in a 3 for $10 deal. Wasn't going to pay full price for it, of course. There's some movies I just won't pay full price for. I'll get them in like a bargain deal or something like that, if I want them bad enough. Now, I did show these off in my update from the other night, but it's Jaws 1 and 2. Now, I think everybody knows about these movies. They're about a killer great white terrorizing a small, like, I think it's in New England because they shot these on Martha's Vineyard. It's supposed to take place in New England or something like that. But it's this New England coastal town, and it's getting terrorized by this, like, giant great white shark.
You want to learn more about what we say about this movie? Go to, like, the one from the other night. That'd probably be your best bet.
Probably, because we do go into a tiny bit more detail the best we can, but we're trying, so. And I know that those of you who are watching really appreciate how much we are trying, and we are trying our best for you, so keep on watching.
And this is
This is a 4-movie collection. It's Cabin Fever 1 and 2, and The Descent 1 and 2. Now, my friend here on YouTube, Pandora 3100, actually got this for me, and it was mainly for the Descent movies because I had never seen them, and I'd wanted to, and based on the reviews, what I heard everybody saying was pretty much right. The first one was good, but the second one just really sucked. Now, for the Cabin Fever movies, I had the first one, but I gave it to Lil Craze 25 as a present when I got this because it had Cabin Fever 2. But I haven't watched it yet, Cabin Fever 2 yet. I have seen a few reviews on it, and I've seen bits and pieces of it on the Chiller channel, and what I saw of it looked kind of cool, but I don't know if I'm actually going to sit and watch the whole thing because the first one really got to me.
I watched Cabin Fever. I'm never really impressed by it. Never saw the other 3.
I think it was that leg shaving scene that got to me. Oh.
I watched it. I'm like, ha 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 ha. That's that phase where I was laughing at horror movies. At the most disturbing things, a person could get their head ripped off or the teeth. Like ha 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 ha. I'm evil that way.
Next up is the immortal classic Prom Night, starring Jamie Lee Curtis and Leslie Nielsen. Now, I don't know what else can be said about this movie that hasn't already been said, because it is such a classic, and I honestly don't know what to say about it.
Do not talk to people on Prom Night.
Yeah.
Which they never learn.
Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2. This is actually the sequel. And it goes in a different direction compared to the first one, but it's basically takes place at the same school that the first one took place in, but it's about this prom queen who was like cheating on her boyfriend, and the jilted ex actually has a stink bomb that he drops just as she's getting crowned prom queen, and it lights her dress on fire and kills her. And of course 30 years later, we see that the jilted boyfriend has become the principal of the school, and his son is dating the hopeful prom queen, who later in the movie gets possessed by Mary Lou, and of course chaos ensues, people die, the whole 9 yards, you name it. But this is a very underrated sequel and one I truly enjoy.
2 for 1.
Yep, this is a double feature of Prom Night 3 and 4. Now, I've only watched Prom Night 3. I wasn't too impressed with the way they continued Mary Lou's storyline, and plus I think that the version on here was edited for TV, so I don't know if I'm really going to go on to part 4 yet, but I might and I might not. I really don't know.
Remake.
Then we have the remake. Now, a lot of people shit on this one. I did watch Rambo Raff for Life, Matt, his mega rant on it, which it just made me laugh because I do agree with him on some points that this is a very bad remake, but for what it is, being, I don't know, kind of a slasher, kind of not, but this is the unrated version. I don't see what's so unrated about it, but
I never saw it yet, so. Alright. We have 1 series left to show you.
Yep, we have 1 set to go.
And I guess we could just... This is the colorized Night of the Living Dead. Like one of the best zombie movies out there, and it started the girl tripping in high heels thing.
Yeah.
And it's basically them hunting out from zombies, and in this version, it kills them all.
Yeah.
And
not to mention the girl going catatonic.
And the guy went.
Yeah.
smacked her and she went catatonic. I'm like, just throw her outside and put a bomb in her.
Yeah, feed her to the zombies.
Of course, the actors probably disagree with me. She was like so helpless. It's like, why?
Next up is the classic Dawn of the Dead. This is the Divimax Special Edition, which is loaded with features, although I've heard that I've seen it in people's collections, like Rambo Rat for Life, Matt. I saw that you had the Ultimate Edition of Dawn of the Dead, which I would personally love to get, because I've heard it's just loaded with features. It's got like 3 or 4 different cuts of the movie on a 4-disc set. That's just one that I'm trying to find, and I would love to be able to find it for a reasonable price. I looked on Amazon a few weeks ago, and they wanted like $9 for it, but I didn't have the money at the time, so
that is like one of my favorite ones.
That is possibly my favorite.
It's like one of the best ones out there.
Next up is the very underrated Day of the Dead. Now, this one it's the bare bones single disc edition, but I think everybody knows the story of Day of the Dead. The world has been taken over by zombies pretty much, and there's a few survivors, like military people, scientists, hiding in this underground bunker, and they're trying to figure out how to train these zombies. Well, of course, zombies get in there, chaos ensues, and I don't know really what else to say, but I do like the gore effects done by Tom Savini once again.
No?
Wait. We're not done with Romero stuff. Go here.
No, let's just go to the remakes. We get to that.
No, because these come after these.
In the regular series, but this remakes we're going into. I don't really count it as the part of that.
As I say, they're not remakes. And here we have George Romero's Land of the Dead. Now, this was one I got into when it came out. It picks up, I don't know if you could say it picks up after Day of the Dead, but the world has been taken over by zombies again, and the remaining humans are like in this one area, and the really rich people live in this huge, like, I don't know what you, like, fortified skyscraper, and all the poor people have to live in the slums and stuff like that.
And retrieve food and crap like that.
Yep.
And they were distracted by fireworks.
Yeah, the zombies are actually distracted by fireworks.
Yeah, not the best one. I really hated the ending.
I agree, the ending was pretty stupid.
They had the opportunity to kill. Like, no, they want somewhere to live. Like, no, kill them.
For real.
Oh, they want somewhere to live, and yet they killed millions of people.
Yeah.
Where's the fucking logic in that?
Exactly. Next up is Diary of the Dead. This is one that I remember seeing a lot of hype about on MySpace when it first came out. This is one where George Romero pretty much reinvented his zombie series and basically told the story of Night of the Living Dead all over again. But this time he kind of focuses on like the internet age, and basically the main thing is like that one of the characters actually says it in the movie. If it doesn't happen on camera, then it's like it never happened.
That's a good movie. I liked it.
I thought it was a pretty interesting take. And here we have George Romero's Survival of the Dead. Now, I haven't finished watching this one yet, but what I saw of it, I kind of liked, but I didn't like it as much as Diary of the Dead. But like I said, I haven't finished it, so I don't really know much about it. I've heard some reviews on YouTube, and based on what I've heard, it doesn't look like it'll, I don't know, I mean, it's probably not exactly the best one, but
I haven't watched this one yet, but I heard it's like they took a group from that they used in this movie and this movie.
Yeah.
So.
Next up, we have one of my favorite remakes, the Night of the Living Dead remake. This was actually directed by Tom Savini, master of the gore effects, as we know. And I think he did a good job with this. He actually takes the lead girl and turns her into like this kick-ass Linda Hamilton style type hero instead of having her go all catatonic.
Oh, she fights back and she survives.
Yeah.
And she pretty much she said, "Fuck it, I'm not going to sit around." She got guns. She started shooting people, little zombies.
Yeah.
And then there's like Tony Todd's in this movie too.
It's one of Tony Todd's early appearances before Candyman, actually.
Yep. And I like that. She gets away, and this group finds her. After she finds her brother was a zombie and got shot.
Yeah, it's like this group of, I don't know what you'd call them.
Vigilantes.
Yeah.
And they go back to the house, see the survivors, and find when the asshole guy comes down there. It's like, oh my god, I'm alive, and she shoots him in the head.
Yeah, there's one more for the fire.
And she says this line, they were us, now we're them.
They're us. We're them, and they're us. And last but not least, we have another favorite remake of mine. This is the Dawn of the Dead remake. Now, I think they did a really good job with this in things like making the zombies, like, just kick-ass fast. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen running zombies before this movie, but I really did like the approach that they took.
Only time I really seen running zombies was in
the 28 Days Later movies.
Yeah. Although I don't really like the running zombies. Maybe a jogging zombie will be fine.
Didn't 28 Days Later come before that?
I don't know. When did this come out?
2004, I think. I think 28 Days Later came out in 2003.
Yeah, I think that's right. But it's not too bad of a movie. Not too bad of a remake.
Right. They did a good job with it.
Yeah. Of course, they missed the opportunity to dump a bunch of gasoline all over the city and set it on fire and killing all the zombies.
Yeah.
They had a chance to blow up the entire city and save the world from zombies. No. They got on a boat and loaded away.
Yep.
And this one girl, oh gosh, she went out to get a dog.
Yeah.
I would have beat her when she came back to safety.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's it for part 2 of my horror collection. And we will be back pretty soon with part 3. And we're going to try and do some more videos for the month of October. Some horror-related stuff. Possibly some reviews, hopefully. But once again, this is Little Rocker Cutie 2005, also known as Andre. Once again, I'm chilling with Buffyxenaman, also known as Chris. Telling you to enjoy life and enjoy some Starburst.
Peace.